those things where I just had like a long time just kind of setting everything up. The reason is because like today we went to the park and pretty much those who are here, thank you so much for being here. Well, right now it's like pretty much no one's here, but I'm gonna do a live sculpt and chat, and so I'm just kind of in the process of like putting together this really cool this thing here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just set it up. I have my tripod, and so I'm gonna do it like this. This is my car, as you can see, very nice car. Set it up right here. And so what happens? Today's my anniversary, and I'm here in Queens. I probably have an even better signal than I normally do. So I'm gonna see if I can do this really good for you. And thank you. Just want to say that let's see, this is pretty cool. Let's see if I can just go ahead and find something so I can tell you. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be doing some masking tape art, and the reason I do this is because I like sharing what I'm doing. And today is a very special day. Today is my anniversary when my wife and I got engaged. So let's see if I can put my headphones on. Let's see if I can do this with my headphones. Maybe a little better with my headphones. That way I can just kind of like have a conversation with you a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this on. And then let's see what we have here. That's probably comic books. Oh, what's this? Help my art studio grow. Subscribe. Thanks. Okay, folks. So, alright, so what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you and walk you through some of the cool art. And there's several ways to do this, but for the most part, though, I'm going to see if I can just go ahead and get this connected for you. I'm going to try and see if I can get some more people to see our video. Right? And let's see if I can do that. Right now, I'm here in Queens, New York. And my family and I, what we're doing, we're just kind of going to get something to eat. So I'm going to do this. I know I'm already kind of late in the game, but let's see what we can do. First and foremost, what I'm going to do, I have my tape, and I'm going to go ahead and just make something. But I like to ask people first what they would like me to make before I actually make anything, because what happens is, you have it where people are like, I like to ask questions as to what you make. But I want to tell you a story as I do this, but, right now I'm kind of doing this live, so let's see if there's any way to share this with you. All right, well, hello everybody, this is me, Greg. Just want to say hi. All right, pretty much here's the rules for the evening. The rules for evening is you tell me what to make, and I will make it. Pretty much whoever puts it in chat, pretty much, I'd like to say pretty much that you can, see the stuff I'm going to do and give me an idea what I could make. Today is my anniversary. I have so much stuff to talk about. I want to tell you guys so much about everything. There's so many things to share. And so the thing is, I'm just in the process of trying to find out what's the best thing to share or how to do this right now, because what happens, this is going to be, please, in the chat below, one, give me a thumbs up. Two, let me know in the chat what I should make tonight, because I only have an hour, and right now we're at almost half an hour. So let me know in the chat below as to what I should make tonight live as I tell you the story about how my wife and I, we got engaged. This is actually going to be, this is the anniversary of our engagement. And so those of you who have seen it, right, our engagement pictures, it's like pretty cool how we got engaged. But I want to tell you the whole story about that. But as I do that, I want to go ahead and just sculpt a creature, or sculpt some kind of like an object. So please, in the chat, someone write me as to what I should make. Something family friendly, of course, not a politician. I don't want to make any politicians. Gotta find the little buttons here. Okay, good. Lean back a little bit. Okay, good. So let me know what is a good to make, because I would like for you to let me know in the chat. Okay, so please do that. I'm trying to do on the other side, my other phone, right? I'm trying to see if I can actually share more of this so more people can see this before I start. So please, anyone, go ahead, write something in the chat and let me know what you want me to make with this masking tape roll right here, and I will make it live for you. I'll tell you everything that happened today before that. So for the most part, though, my my today's date was like we had we had a pretty good day. We went walking in the park. We went to a place called Casino Park. And those of you who know about Casino Park is like, it's a really is a park with a nice big lake in the center of it. And what happens is that the lake It's you can actually see like there's ducks and there's ducks and there's swans, and then there's turtles and a lot of wonderful creatures. It's a big lake, and it's one of those things that as you go there, you're just so happy to be able to be part. I'm doing a live right now. I'm doing a live stream. I'm sorry. Am I blocking? Am I blocking something, or am I blocking your way? Am I blocking your way? That was weird. Am I blocking his way? Am I blocking his side? Am I reserved parking? Am I in the way of the guy? I don't know. The guy came up to me and asked me a question, and I don't know. What's the scenario? I don't know. That was weird. Okay, what happened? The guy just walked up, got to my car. We never walked away. He was like in a car thing, and I don't know if I'm in his way or in the path or something, or I don't know. I don't know. It was weird. It's like a girl and a guy, and they asked me to, I don't know what, but that was weird. I was in the middle of a live. I'm in the middle of a live right now, and he's just kind of like trying to interrupt me. Tell you, life is so interesting here in New York. Let me let you know. It's like, okay, so what happens is, right, I'm here in the car with my family, right, and so pretty much I said I was gonna be here at 6:00, right, so 6:00 to 7 is when I'm doing this live stream. So you know how it is whenever you plan something, you have it kind of set, you want to do something. This is kind of how life is for me. Life kind of works this way, where you're kind of in the midst of doing something, and then something comes along and just interrupts you. And so, I mean, that's an interesting interruption. Like, I don't know if he wanted me to help him or something, and I'm just like, I don't know, but the girl is pushing a wheelchair, a motorized wheelchair. I don't understand, but my family went that way. Okay, so the guy being pushed by a motorized wheelchair by a girl, and I'm not sure what they even wanted. So now I'm all like, I'm all confused. I'm all confused right now. Okay, so pretty much I'm just trying to figure this out myself. All right, I am. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna start making something. I'll start telling my story because it's like, I just don't. There's no one's gonna advise me. I'm just gonna go ahead and start making something. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to make. My wife and I, the story of how we got into our engagement is like this. Let me see if I can back the camera up a little bit more so you can see better. My wife and I, how we got into the whole thing with our engagement was this. Back in 2001, it was like pretty much at that point I've known my wife. I knew my wife for about, well, she wasn't my wife yet, but we were engaged. Well, we weren't engaged yet. I was gonna get engaged. Let me show you how it goes. The story goes like this, right? We, in 2001, it was March 19th, today. And what ended up happening was, like, I had spoken to my director at the time when I was in ministry, because I was going through college. I was in my fourth year of college, right? And this is my fourth year of college in 2001. I was about to finish up. And so, because what happened was that I took a gap year. I went 1 year, 2 years, and then what happens, I took a gap year between my my second and third year. My second and third year of college, right? So my first year, anyway, what happens when I made an agreement with my director that I was going to. Okay, so the guy is on a thing, and the girl is there, and they're pushing the thing, and okay, I don't know what they're doing. I think, okay, I don't know. I guess they're just driving. I don't know what's going on over there. Okay, I'm just gonna stop focusing everything. I'm gonna go ahead and go to my story. My story is this, right? My wife and I, pretty much how I met my wife was pretty much at ministry I was at. I was doing I was gonna become a medical missionary and become a missionary to help people in Cameroon, West Africa. That was my goal. I wanted to do that, right? Because what happened before that, we wanted to be a paleontologist and then veterinarian medicine. It's a long story, but what happened? You've probably heard it already. But so what ended up happening was that my desire to I wanted to ask my wife, well, my girlfriend at the time was my wife, to marry me, right? I want to ask her that. And so the thing was, like, I knew that if I was to finish my degree, right, and I got my degree, and my degree was going to be finished in May, that what would happen is that she'd be suspect as to anything, because I'm just such a hopeless romantic. I really am. I enjoy doing all these cool romantic stuff, right? And so the thing is this, right? I made this deal today, and I might not stay long for this one. I might something quick because, like, pretty much. I just want to say real quick. So what happens is this, right? I wanted to surprise her with an engagement, right? And the engagement was going to happen either in May or it's going to happen sometime before that, because I knew that if she had any idea that I was going to be asking her to marry me in May, which is when I finished my school, anything would be suspect. So I know how to handle that. I know how to handle that scenario or the situation. So what I came to understand was this. I said, okay, I talked to my director, and I said to him, you know what? Listen, I would like to ask my wife, well, to be my wife, in April, in May. So March 19th is the day. Today was when I asked her. But this is how it is. This is how it goes. First and foremost, it was like I had to actually stop and think how I want to do this. So she came to visit, right? And she came to visit us. Visit me for like a couple days from, I think, Pennsylvania. And so what happened was like, actually, I think it was from Florida. And so what happened was, like, when she came to visit, it was one of those things where I had spoken to so many people about what I should do. So I had to arrange a meal at one of our favorite diners, and then not only that, I had to also arrange photographer, right? But I couldn't get a photographer to be there that day. And so the Sunday we went to a favorite restaurant, and a friend of mine took a picture. And then on Monday, that's the day I was going to ask her, which is like March 19th, 2001. And what ended up happening was, like, I got the ring. I went to Zales and I purchased a ring. And the ring, her engagement ring, at first it was going to be a heart shape, I wanted to get like a heart shape ring because, like, my name is Valentine, last name is Valentine, right? And I was going to get like a heart shape ring, right? And it's going to be all heart shape. And when I decided to get that, I thought it was going to be pretty much a cool, like a cool shape like that. But when I was checking it in the thing, the way it held, it didn't hold so well because the light, when it bounced, it didn't bounce right out. It didn't look as a nice type ring. So I got an oval shape ring, right? An oval shape ring like this, and it has the prongs on it like that. So when it holds the prongs on the ring, it's like it's kind of, it holds better. Like, if you ever see I have a video where I show you all the different rings that we have. And one of them, this is the ring that we have. It has like a prong, and it was perfect. It was a perfect prong like that, and so it made it look like the tops of the oval was the heart. So I got that ring, right, and I had it in a container, and then the container was like, pretty cool because what it was is like, I got it like to bring, and she didn't know. So we were just talking about like how on this day, we went to like a Indian restaurant, and I had it in the container. She started out like a container that could hold a ring there, and she was like, oh, one day, kind of like she was hoping, like, and she didn't know at that point I had the ring in my pocket. And so I had the ring in my pocket, but I didn't ask her then, right? So we went to Manhattan. We rode the train to Manhattan, and when we got to Manhattan, it was like I went to. I just told her to wait and see. So pretty much when we went to the Manhattan, I went to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, right? And so I went to Metropolitan Museum of Art because I've always been into museums and to artwork and stuff, and I wanted to take her to the Chinese wing, and the show would be like a Ming Dynasty vase and all that. I had my whole script figured out what I was gonna say, and what ended up happening was, like, I had that day that was closed. That day the museum was closed, Metropolitan Museum of Art, because I think it's usually closed on Monday, and I just didn't know that or didn't feel to pay attention to it. So what ended up happening was, like, I went to we just went outside and we were walking around, and we found this bridge, and it was a really cool bridge in between, like, in the park, the park, like, you have the in the Central Park, and it was really nice because the part where there's a bridge, and I found this sweet bridge where she could be on the bridge and I could be on the bridge. And then so I was looking around to find a guy, someone to take a picture, because I had one of those old digital cameras. My first digital camera was called a Jam Cam, and it was yellow and black. I'll show you a picture of that at some point. But so what happened was, like, when I started making this thing, right, when I started trying to figure out how I'm gonna ask her to marry me, on the fence, I had her sit down on the bridge, right? There's a bridge, like a stone bridge, a black stone bridge, and it was lovely. We haven't been able to find that bridge since, but that day when we had the bridge, right, it was one of those things where I was able to I found the guy walking by and I said, sir, can you take a picture, right? So I gave him the camera. I gave him the camera. I said, can you take a picture of us, right? And he said, okay. So when he went to take a picture, I said, hold on, wait just 1 second. And I reached and I took out the wedding ring, the engagement ring, and I opened it up and I said, and I was like, Amy, will you marry me? Amy, will you marry me? You know, my wife's name is Amy, and she was like, no way. She took her glove, right? She had her gloves. And she was like, no way, no way, no way, all right. And she was like, so she hit me like 20 times with the glove. Like, no way, no way, no way, no way. And then I was like, Amy, is that a yes or a no? Is that a yes or a no? And she was like, yes, I'll marry you. And it was so funny. And the guy was like, he was all scared. He was like, what should I do? I was like, well, you hope you got a picture of that. And he got a picture of it. So I actually have a picture before she hit me with it, but you can actually see her face. So I'm gonna post it as the screenshot, not screenshot. I don't have it I have it on my other phone. I mean, we could probably show you. It's like on my other phone if I had to find it real quick on my Instagram, on my Facebook. But it's like it's this day is such a cool day because it's the day. I know it's just how things work. I was hoping to do a little bit more different things than what actually occurred today, but we spent a day in the park and we had a real good time. And we had one of our friends come with us, and we were just kind of hanging out in the park today. And it was like, right now it's like pretty much I'm with the family, and I said that I would do my Wednesday things because Wednesdays I'm trying to be consistent, And I know I got off to a late start, but for the most part though, it's one of those things where, I'm a hopeless romantic. I enjoy being. My name is Valentine. I like doing romantic stuff, And so what happens is the long story short of it all is I want to see if I can show you this here real quick. And oh goodness, okay, I gotta do this real quick. Hold on a second. And yes, it's me. Yes, it's me. Yes, it's me. Because my old yes, it's me. All right, cool. All right, so I had to say yes, it's me on this thing, so otherwise it's not gonna work. So okay, good. All right, cool. So that's why I can show you what's here on my I'll show you what the picture looked like. This is what it looks like, right? This is on my Instagram, on my Facebook, and let's see. I have to go into history and go into the it's like history and the thing that's going to go over here and events. And today's events or memories, right? So here comes the memories. I'm gonna show you what we looked like when I was really young. I was really young. You see this one here. It's crazy. It's crazy how it's it goes. Let's see. I'm gonna show you this here. Where are you on this here? Okay, here it goes. This is the actual picture. The actual picture of what it looks like when we got engaged. So here it is. Right? See, this is what we looked like when we got engaged. You see, right there. This is us on the bridge in Times Square, and in Central Park, right? It's like I could just I don't know if I could zoom. I don't know if we can actually zoom, but this is when I was young. I was 20. How am I old? 22 years old when I asked her to marry me. I just need to get it. It doesn't focus. Let me see if I flip around the other way and see if I can focus that way. But this is the picture. Right? See right here is the picture right here. See, so I'm here in I could show you closer. It does. See what happened? It can't really zoom to focus. I have to just kind of make sure I get it into right. But here it is. See, that's the me. That's me and Amy when we were young. We were really young. And this is the day on that day that we asked each other. I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. And see, I cannot find this bridge. I don't know where this bridge is. I don't know where that bridge is located. But this is where it was. So this is this picture here is the first response. And me talking to the guy. This is before, second. This is third, and she said yes. But we didn't kiss each other until the wedding day. We saved our first kiss for the wedding day. And the reason why we did that was because we wanted to make sure that we didn't do anything else until the wedding day. So we actually just decided to kind of hold off on that time. So you get me showing a picture of me showing a picture. You get the camera going, reverse. But yeah, that's pretty much there. So what I'm asking is let me know what I have to make, because I want to just kind of make this real quick. I'm at the time is looking at this stuff here. And the time is now, you're looking at 6:34. So I've only got 30 minutes now to make something. I want to keep it as consistent as possible. My whole family, they're out there trying to get food and stuff like that. So they're out there getting the food and things. But the most part though, when I asked her to marry me, she said yes. And it was it has been such an amazing adventure. We have gone through so many things together. It's the year after, we got married in 2002. 2002. So June of 2000, the following year we got married. but it was like when I gave her the ring, it didn't fit her finger. I couldn't figure out what her size was, because you can't ask somebody the size of their finger. There's no way to find that out without giving them a heads up. You can't, like, get a, and then there's no way to get a person's finger size without them thinking something, right? So unless you ask them, and then they know that you're asking them. But for the most part, though, so I got the ring. We had to get it resized to fit her finger. So that's kind of the thing there that was amazing about that. So when I could make a Care Bear or something, or I could make something like that, or I could make some kind of a creature thing. But I'm just hoping that somebody write me something in the chat and be like, hey, top messages. Let's see, all messages. Let's see. All right, so this is what I have, and this is what I have. So this is a heart, and it's just a heart. It's a very simple heart, but I wanted to make something more elaborate. So definitely, let's see. I only have a few minutes. So let's see, what can I possibly make that'd be cool for you to see. Heart. Could make a human heart. Oh no. Okay, so what's gonna do? This here is a heart, right? And I'm gonna make this heart 3-dimensional. Okay, I'm gonna do this heart, take this heart, make it 3-dimensional, make it even better, more like, smooth and all that stuff. So you're gonna see me do that. So this will be the sculpture for the thing, right? So I'm gonna do that. And how pretty much I'm gonna do this, I'm just gonna do this and talk at the same time. So yeah, we've been through so many things. Most recently, like I was saying before, we had we have gone through so many adventures. A friend of mine used to say that we would call the adventures of Greg and Amy. We did so many things, been so many places. And the thing about my wife is, like, if you know my wife, pretty much, she tells the truth, and she's a very, very truthful person. She likes to, tell a lot of, straight up things. So she has her own channel, by the way. Her own channel is a gardening channel. And so her gardening channel has been we call Urban Gardening with Children. And so she's been doing that, and we've been doing that gardening stuff for a really long time. I went to school for gardening, and for as on top of all the other things I went to. But for part of my animal science, and my animal science was plant science, and the plant science aspect of it was where we had to make a thing called a land laboratory. Or part of the land laboratory that we had was that we had to kind of grow plants. And little I know at that point how interesting and how interesting it was. But one thing I did learn was that we use a lot of Miracle-Gro, and so I learned a lot since then that Miracle-Gro is kind of maybe not the best thing to use. But what because what happens, Miracle-Gro is kind of like land steroids. I mean, you can grow a lot of things with Miracle-Gro, but then you know how it is. I'm not gonna decry the power and the might of Miracle-Gro, but I'm just saying I don't use it anymore. So whenever I grow anything, it's not because of Miracle-Gro. So we grow it and we grow. So anyway, so one of the things is that I worked on a land laboratory, and my wife, she has a channel called the Urban Gardening with Children. Because what we started doing was that we did this thing together where we would at first it was like we asked permission to people to farm their land, right? Like we had a piece of land, and the land was in such a way that we can actually make some like strides. So what we did was that we'd actually help the neighborhood by making the gardening, because we had a garden in the back of our house, and there's a long story there, a long, arduous, and very painful story that goes along with that. But probably we don't need to hear that long, painful, arduous story. I'll say that one for another day when things are better. But for the most part, though, what happens is this: we had a thing where we loved to garden, and so we would garden for years and years. And so we went from one garden to another. First garden was in the backyard. The second garden was across the street from our house. The third garden was a friend of ours' garden, and the fourth garden was a garden about 2 blocks away from us. But the garden was a friend's garden. What we did was that, but we'll go back. I'll go back to that one. Let's go back to the first one. The first one. We did a thing called guerrilla gardening. It's a thing where when you go to it's when you go and you find a piece of land, and you turn it from a barren piece of land into a fruit thing of land, a fruit providing, or land that makes fruits and vegetables or something. Now she's not pushing the guy anymore. Now he's riding on this thing, and I don't know what she's doing, but so the lady is gone, but the guy is over there, and I don't know what he's doing, and I don't know. I can't see anything, but it's not my business anyway. So here's this, right? So you have this thing here. This here is making one of the hearts that people have for like Valentine's Day and stuff like that. So here you have that. So for the most part, though, what ends up happening is we have found land, and we would farm that land, and then we'd take the land and give it to the neighborhood, give the fruit that we made from the land into the neighborhood. And also we document it, because the best way to make stuff is to is to make best way to do anything is to, once you learn something, to automatically share that what you learned with somebody else, and so incidentally, when you make something, you take that thing that you make and you share it, and I learned that the long time, that when you want to do something or learn something, you learn it, you keep it, you share it, and then after that, after you finish sharing it, you're able to teach people how to make stuff. So that's kind of the thing there, so just like making an inanimate object, an object that's not not a creature, not a creature. But I do have my creatures with me, by the way. I do have creatures. I have Deli with me. So Deli's with me. I always keep Deli with me. And so he was in my bag. When we went to the park today, I had him like just kind of there. And so for the most part, though, what ends up happening is most part what happens is like we did a lot of farming for many years on this land. It was land across from our house, and it was abandoned. Nobody took care of it, and like how things happen. Whenever you start doing something, nobody cares about it until you start to do it. Then either they take advantage of it or they want what you have. And so with us, we had the scenario where the people, they wanted what we were doing. They didn't care about the fact that we had gone through so much to turn the land and to turn the soil and make it all good and bring buckets of water. And I even made a thing called a rain roof, which is like I made this thing to gather rainwater. So we had gotten rain barrels and stuff, and that was great. That was great. So what happens is the whole aspect of it is you have it where we were able to do that. And so we were 5 years there on the land that we made. And we had turned the soil. We had every year we're looking forward to it. We had locks. We had our bike there. People broke in and stole our bikes. One guy broke in and stole our bikes. We had it under the tarp. We didn't. I mean, the one time I didn't lock it, it was the one time the guy came and stole it. And then it was like, how did he know that one time? But anyway, long story short, it was one of those things. I used to ride my bike to work. I guess he must have seen me or something. And then, but anyway, so he came and stole our bikes, and we had to go get our bikes back. But that was, so we have a land laboratory that we were working on, and we were making that into our garden. So it became the urban gardening with children. And we actually did a video. I actually did a video there of where it was, and it was like it had a thing where we had the eclipse happen, the 2018 eclipse. That's when I had I did a live video there watching the eclipse, because I wanted to kind of document that. So there's a video there in my archives. You can see my various travel archives about how there was the eclipse happened. And then the other thing too was it had a it was very cool. We ended up putting up a canopy tent, and that canopy tent was so nice. We had like chairs, we had white chairs. We had like a table, and it was our third place. They say it's always good to have a third place. Like this place you go to work, a place you come home from work, and then you go and you do. And my wife loved it. She absolutely loved it. So it's kind of like fitting that we got engaged in a garden, and in Central Park, which is a giant garden, like the biggest garden. And then it was like, well, I don't know if it's the biggest garden, but it's one of the biggest gardens. It was one of the biggest parks, I guess. It's 10 Mile Park. And the other thing is that you have it where majority of stuff, right? The majority of things is that just we've done a lot of growing stuff. We grew a family together. We had a lot of adventures together, and even now, like today being our anniversary of the day we got engaged, it's like it's very significant. We spend the time at the park and just kind of walking around and just enjoying the time. So pretty much I'm gonna just kind of I might not stay for long, but I just I'm just checking the time. But right now it's another 15 minutes, and then I will call it quits for the night, because I'm only gonna do this for an hour. And so the thing is it's so hard to do this, by the way. It's not that it's difficult and impossible. It's just it's hard to do it because I totally enjoy this, and I want to communicate this love to other people. And sometimes it's really hard to do that. It's just, that's what makes it hard to do. That people don't understand how cool, I mean, maybe they do, but how cool and how wonderful it is to make something out of nothing, And sometimes you kind of wonder about that, should you really continue? But sometimes you just keep going, and as you're going, it just gets better. Because sometimes, people give you super chats, and that's always great. But sometimes, you just meet interesting comments in the comments, and people have interesting chats for you. And then you just have a really good time, to stuff that you're doing. So I think this is a great thing. I love it. I love the whole making stuff and just being there. But it was like I have a picture because that day I don't think that day per se, but we went. I had a picture of me standing in front of my Amy and I standing in front of an Allosaurus in the Museum of Natural History, and that Allosaurus is like a world famous Allosaurus, and it's like it's been there for like ever since I was a kid. That Allosaurus has been there, and so what happened was with my take on everything, it was like that Allosaurus represented death and a thing that wasn't gonna be alive. But then they have a picture of Amy standing in front of it, and she's life. And so I really love my wife. I thank God so much for her. We've been through so many things. We've been through a lot of upset. We've been through, having 4 kids together, and pretty much we're strong. We're gonna be married for 23 years, 23 years this year. This is 24 years of being engaged, right, together. We had so many fun things happen. But I remember in the beginning of the relationship, we had this thing where we named our fears. We took all the fears that we'd have, we named them, and we put them in a thing of jelly beans, right? There's a thing of jelly beans. And so what happened was the jelly bean aspect of it. It just needs some ventricles is what it needs. This heart needs some ventricles. No, what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm just gonna like make it more smooth and more more heart shaped. It's like a cool creature from it. I don't know. Maybe give some arms and legs, like some kind of scary beast. Maybe like a lizard head or something. It said lizard head, like this heart becomes a lizard head. But then for the most part, what I'm trying to say is that I thank God for my wife, and I'm really proud that that we were able to have all this time together. So I'm probably gonna end it quick because I was able to accomplish what I said I would do, and that which I was able to start something. Next time I just hope that more people would comment and give me like an opportunity. But it's play as you go. I'm not sure exactly how any of this stuff works. I remember like I might do more videos. I liked the live chat stuff because live chat was so good. I remember times I got like so many like people to kind of watch and to just watch and see as I do stuff and stuff. And so I think what I'll do in the future, I might just make more videos and just upload the videos or something, and then you guys can see that and be like, instead of like live chatting it and stuff, just kind of just trusting that it'll be probably better that way. People can watch in their own time, stuff. So it's like that. It's like a heart shape, and yeah, and that's pretty much the thing. But it was like when I asked her to marry me, I didn't know how it was gonna be. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it was gonna go. I didn't know we were gonna, try and raise support and not be able to make it as missionaries. That people actually would have problems with the way we looked, the color of my skin and stuff. That people actually, it's supposed to be like believers and stuff, and it was such a problem that they had to, when my wife was going through her ministry classes, that they had to just really kind of rail on her about whether or not how it's going to be married to a black person. That was something there. You don't think about it, but like when you go through the years and you see like how people really play things out, that it's like people really do care about skin color and things like that. But then I thank God for my wife. She didn't care about that. My wife, she's not from where I'm from. She's born here in the United States. I was born in the Caribbean. And so because of that, there's so much that we are able to do together, and we have so many adventures. But they say a lot of people say that many things that happened to us was because the fact that I'm dark skinned, I'm brown, I'm a brown black man, and that's something there. And you try not to make it a thing, but sometimes the people who hold the money from you are the ones who could actually help promote you, and that's something there. Sometimes you don't get promoted like you would really like to be, because for some reason people don't think you're worthier or something. So that was something there. I met many people, many missionaries, and I thank God for meeting my wife because I had a criteria. I said I didn't want to marry anybody from a certain place, from my home country. I don't want to marry anybody from New York City. I didn't want to marry anybody from my first year of Bible school or second year of Bible school. Somebody who had to be on staff in the system I was at, and she was on staff. She chose to be there, and when she chose to be there, it was one of those things where it just was really cool. Really cool that she actually chose to be there on her own. That I didn't manipulate the situation. I didn't cause her to be there and force her. It was like, 'cause my previous girlfriend, before my wife, she didn't know what to do with the ministry I was in, and it was kind of one of those things where I I couldn't make a decision. I was a young cadet. I mean, I was, I was how much more years younger? Probably like 2 years. I don't know. It's a long story, but for the most part, though, my situation was like, talking about my engagement story and how I got engaged. It was like, what to Amy was, it was amazing because I had to do a little, trickery to get her, not trickery, but trickery. I had to, not trickery, but I had to kind of, make her think that it wasn't about engagement, and it was engagement. I had to do that, and that was something there that was really fun because she had no idea I was going to ask her to marry me in March, and that was the trickery of it all. So I had to kind of be very stealthy about it because once I graduated in May, I knew that any time would be suspect for graduating from college with my bachelor's of science degree. And so yeah, so I have a bachelor of science degree, and I do, and part of it's in art, part of it's in coordination and events, and part of it's in biblical studies. But I majored in biblical studies, and so the thing is, I got my degree because what happened was, like, when I had finished my first 2 years, my dad was like, you should go back to school and get more education because you never know what's going to happen in life. You never know what's going to happen. So I said, well, you know what? At first I was like, no. But then I listened to my dad, and I went back to school. And my directors helped make it possible, about the whole thing with school and figuring out how to make money, because one of the worst things is that school debt's crazy. But for the most part, though, they really helped me to do that, to figure out how to pay for school. And I did like internship. I was able to help pay for my first 2 years, and then also I was able to do like that. The other part was like just trying to make sense of everything, and then because what happens, I don't know why they do this to children, but they expect you to know what you want to do for the rest of your life by the time you hit a certain age. And I mean, like, I know adults who don't even know what they want to do. I know adults now, and I'm like, I'm in my 40s, who don't even know what they want to do, whereas you meet people, and it's just like, it's one of those things where you're not really sure. You're not really sure because life is so much to offer. When people say, how do you know the person you marry is the person you're supposed to marry? Well, it was kind of like, one of those things where I believe that marriage is one of those things that's a very awesome thing, in terms of the fact that, when you choose to marry somebody, that person, again, you have to know something that's going to be, rest of your life. You're making a big decision that's going to affect the rest of your life. And, the thing is, I always wanted to be a dad, and I always wanted to be a husband. Like, since I was a little kid, I read a book called How to Talk So Your Mate Will Listen, How to Listen So Your Mate Will Talk, right? And I guess you guys missed that. You guys didn't get a chance to hear that, but those who get a chance to listen, right? It's like, only got a few more minutes left. It says that how to talk to your mate, listen, how to listen to your mate will talk. It was a book so good because it helped me to understand how to talk to your wife. That book is a very cool book if you get a chance to read it. Another book to read is a book called The Song of Solomon. You can read the review by Tommy Nelson. Like, my wife and I, Amy and I, before we got into our relationship, we listened to this thing by Tommy Nelson called The Song of Solomon. That's like the book for this generation. That's the book that people avoid in the Bible, and they don't know how to understand it because it's so, like, descriptive and allegorical and stuff. But it's actually, they're talking about people in love, about a person in love. It was about Solomon and the Shulamite, right? Solomon and the Shulamite. And what it is that they had a thing where we think that was the first person that Solomon actually loved, the Shulamite. So what happens, that book talks about how to fight, when people get attracted, talk about courtship and dating. Well, dating and courtship, but pretty much our society about dating is really bad. It's a lot of test drive, but courtship is where you get permission from the parents to court. So I asked her dad for permission back in 2000, in the year 2000. In 2001, I asked her to marry me. 2002, we got married. We didn't do a long engagement. That was some crazy stuff, but we asked her to marry me in 2002. On this day, on March 19th, 2001, is when I asked Amy to marry me. And she said, first thing she said was, no way! And after that, she said, yes way. And then she said, yes, I'll marry you. And that was so cool. That was such a cool time. So with that being, I'm pretty much going to close off on my channel for tonight. My goal was to make a master tape sculpture, and I did. I made this heart. This heart, I'm going to give it to my hottie wife, because my hottie wife is awesome, and she deserves so much because she's done so much for my family. She's actually, without her, I wouldn't have a family, like a family, like, a family that's made, through love. So this is to my sweetie Amy. So I'm gonna give this to her because, the time has been, I actually spent a little bit more time than I would like doing this when I should go spend time with my wife on the time that we have together. So I'm gonna go do that, right? I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Remember, next week I'm gonna try to do this again on the Wednesday. Please like and subscribe. So here's Deli. Deli's holding this heart, because my wife is, she's worth it. I'm gonna go give this heart to my wife. Right? I'm gonna go inside and do that because I'm here in the car talking to you guys, and and she's over there. And she's over there with the kids. And I'm going to go spend time with them because I love my wife and my kids. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best. Have a good night. God bless you. All right. I only did 40 minutes today. And hey, 40 minutes is better than nothing. So God bless you. Talk to you soon. And peace.